live because, sometimes things get weird.
And I have dogs, so if they bark,
No worries.
I'll wait them out for a few minutes. They're back in the hallway.
We both have dogs and they're always causing problems. I try to lock mine upstairs, but
They still always
stay. Okay, we are the live. Yay.
Woo-hoo.
Okay, so everyone, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined today by Michelle Belisari, and she is an agent in Boca Raton, Florida. And her hashtag and her social handles are So Boca, SOOO, which is so cute. I love that. And she's with Real Broker, and she also hosts a private Facebook group called Women to Women in Real Estate Group, which is cool because Angela and I just came back from the Real Estate Mega Moms Abundance Conference in Kansas City. And thank you, Mega Moms, for having us. It was incredible. I think everyone that listens who's a woman should try to get there next year when they have it, because it was incredible. But so we were just chatting with Michelle about life as a mom and a business owner and a real estate agent, and how very intense that can be. So you were sharing that do you have girls?
I have two girls, Kylie and Allie, 26, soon to be 27, and 31, soon to be 32. I had to think about that for a minute.
Wow. Yeah, that is, girls are intense. I'm a boy mom, and I'm very grateful that I'm a boy mom.
My girls are very cool. You'll see them on my social a lot.
I love that.
They're very cool girls and very kind-hearted. They're kind humans.
I love that.
Which is cool. And sometimes my fashionistas. So, they got me on Snapchat. I love them for that.
Yeah, I love that. Or TikTok, or all the cool.
No, they got me on Snapchat, and then I just took off. I was like, see ya.
Nice. Yeah. So we were kind of talking about, okay, so I'll kick it off with this story. So my sister and we were having this conversation on Sunday. So Angela and I came home, and I got home late Saturday night, and my mom had my dogs, and she lives up the road, and I had to run over and get my dogs on Sunday morning. And, I left, my son is 11, he's about to be 12. And I left him at home playing Xbox Live with a couple of friends, online, for about an hour while I ran over and chatted with my mom and talked to her and got the dogs. And she was like, "Where is Kaylin?" And I was like, "He's at home." And she was like, and had a panic attack. Well, I actually don't, it's either 12 or 13 in Colorado where they can stay at home for long periods of time, but he's real close, right? So I let him a little bit when I run to the gas station or whatever, but so my mom has this crazy visceral reaction to it. And then my sister, so I'm 38, she's 34. She looks at my mom and she's like, "Mom, I was home alone by myself for hours from the time that I walked home from school." Yeah. And then, because we were latchkey kids, my generation, right? So we walked home from school, and then, she was home alone until my mom got home at 6 or 7 at night, because my mom was also a single mom. She was working, she was going to school. And my sister was like, "That was 4th grade. Kaylin's going into 7th. What are you complaining about?" But it's so different now. And I feel like there's so much more pressure because nothing is acceptable now.
No, you guys are screwed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We lived on mac and cheese and ramen noodles and hot dogs, and we loved it. We were totally cool. But now it's organic food and no GMO. And
well, you certainly don't want to tell anybody that you gave your kid Benadryl to go on a plane.
No.
Which we used to do.
Definitely.
Because you just can't, my friend is a mom blogger here. She saw some Modern Boca Mom. And she actually mentored me with my So Boca blog, because it's sort of a micro media company, right? Mm-hmm. And so I have a YouTube and I've got the social media channels. But I remember, and she's a Michelle, we sat down one day. So we really need to do old Boca Mom versus new Boca Mom. And the reason is my millennial Allie went with me to some event. She could drink wine now, she's 26. And Michelle says to her, "So what was your mom like when you were growing up?" And I'm like, "Oh, shit." And she turns around and goes, "Oh, well," and she started telling her all these, it was funny. And I said, "Well, you guys can't get away with the stuff that we got away with, like taking you to the steak and ale and sticking your baby, car seat under the table. We had a couple glasses of wine, had our meal and left. I mean, if you did that now, people would lose their shit minds, right? So, but at the end of the day, they survived. I taught them how to do their laundry at a young age, how to clean the house at a young age. I tell parents, especially realtor parents, your kids should know how to clean and they should know how to do some of these things. You're not a maid or butler.
No.
I
mean, I feel like our kids don't have to do those things anymore because they don't see people doing it. It's not like normal. Right. Kids don't complain about their chores anymore because they're not doing them.
They're not doing them.
But okay, wait a minute. So I have a question. And like, we don't need to go in super depth on this, but I was raised by like a single mom, and we weren't, well, there were years where we were very poor. Like we couldn't put gas in the gas tank. I was a strong dancer and I was into singing and all the competitive stuff. And there was stuff I had to quit because I had to help my sister get home from school and we couldn't pay for it.
Well, it's expensive.
But my question is, like, how did you guys grow up financially? Because I wonder if some of this is we're easier on them because now we make a good living and we want to provide good stuff for them.
I think so. This is kind of, my husband and I always worked. Our parents were like middle class. I'd say my parents were probably more a little upper middle class. But they worked hard. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. And in particular, when I moved to Boca, I was right at the beginning of 11th grade in the 1970s. So it was a while ago. But, my mom always kind of taught us how to do our chores and stuff like that. Andy always had to do his chores. And so we raised our kids that way. They don't mind helping around the house and doing things. And, that doesn't mean I don't have a pool guy. Or occasionally I get a cleaning company in because I do have 2 dogs. They trash my floors. I have a bad back. It's like I can't, like, if I do my floors, I'm like, I can't walk for like.
I love that you feel the need to even justify this to us.
I know, but I know. And this is what I do say, though. I'm like, I think if you can get somebody to come clean your house once or twice a month, do it. It's lovely to come home to. It really does kind of help you with managing your time as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as a female in business. But the flip side of that is too, when your children become older like mine, and one was still here during the pandemic, when we could start having that happen again, I Venmo'd her and I Venmo'd my husband. I said, here's your, part. And, I'm not paying for this by myself. So I've always kind of felt like, let's split these things that we really don't like to do and make it something that we can all afford. So I did not grow up with a lot of money. My dad always did well, but he wasn't an oversharer. So I've been working I worked my way through college. I got student loans. I had Pell Grants. When my girls went to college, they had prepaid, Florida prepaid, which I highly recommend to anybody who has kids. If you have a state that offers that kind of thing for college, do it. Because the recession happened, and guess what? A bunch of kids had to come home. Thankfully, my girls did not. But we went through a lot of stuff after that recession, with my husband having an accident and my house being in foreclosure because everybody got hit. And so that's when I flipped the switch and said, all right, I got to think more like a business person, not worry about his income, worry about what I can do, and focus on listing niches and not the buyer side as much, because this ain't working. And that's what I did. In 2012, I went to a Mike Ferry Superstar event in Miami, and I was like, why didn't anybody really tell me this when I got my license? They don't. And if I say nothing more than please learn how to list, and if you can, pick a listing niche that is survivable through almost anything, you're good to go. Divorce, downsizing, and death, which is probate.
The Mega Moms just taught us, hang on a second, and I wrote them down, but I don't mind with me. The 5 E's: divorce, death. Angela, what were they? Oh my God.
Downsizing. Probably seniors downsizing.
Yeah, divorce, death, downsizing.
Those are the ones I could remember.
There's
There was 5
more.
of them.
I'll think of them. But anyway, so the
Yeah.
5 Ds that always make people move around.
They're
But
motivated sellers. They're motivated sellers because they either have to sell or they need to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So how does someone find a niche, and how do they know that they have a niche that is survivable through anything? Because that's something I've never heard before.
Well, I think that's where you look for the motivated type of seller and the niche that no matter what, people still get divorced. I'll talk about the 3 that I'm familiar with. Still get divorced.
Deployment. That was another one.
Yeah, deployment.
Deployment. Yeah, there's a 5th, but I can't think of it.
Which I don't have the deployment piece so much in my area.
Right.
But I have friends in other parts of the country, like in Virginia, up that way, Quantico, they have that.
That's Angela. Angela's big military.
Yeah, big. And where something needs to be court approved, court ordered, anything like that. But here's the thing. You need to be passionate about whatever that niche is. You can't do it just because you see it as an end to the means. My parents died at 57 and 61. I went through probate with them. Okay. So I understand what it's like to be on that side. I also like really helping people, and I'm a really good multitasker. Okay.
It's death, debt, deployment, divorce, and destination. Yep. Meaning that they're moving for some other reason. Sorry.
And the funny thing is with debt, a lot of times what people don't know is they can negotiate a lot of that debt away. They just don't know because they're in the middle of it and they don't ask. You can negotiate that debt down. You can get rid of old credit card debt. And sometimes what they perceive as bad type of or overwhelming debt could be as little as $10,000, which you can work that out. You can settle that. You can talk to any credit card company. You can even talk to your lender. If it hasn't gotten that far, and usually it takes a while anyways when that happens. But I'm a big fan of pick something that you're passionate about, that you want to learn, you want to understand, and that you can talk about easily. And don't pick something just because you think it's going to make you like a rich.
Who's done that, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I feel like you always hear get niched. We had someone whose whole brand is be niched on the podcast a couple of years ago, which was incredible. But okay, so tell us what your niche is and why it's survivable through any market, any type of anything.
Probate is my number 1 niche.
Wow.
Yeah. I work with a lot of probate, and I work with attorneys and in particular. And I was on the buyer side of a couple of probate properties, and that's when it kind of went off where I realized the listing agents weren't educated. And the one scenario that happened was the listing agent hadn't even told the estate probate attorney that she'd listed the property, and one of the heirs had died. Oh. So I had the buyer. We got it done, and this is the power of social media. So this is 15, 14. And a friend of mine from University of Florida was friends with the attorney. And I said, John, can you make an introduction to this attorney? Because I'm getting nowhere. And he did. And I said straight out, I know you cannot share stuff with me, but this is what's going on. And she goes, oh my God, I had no idea the property was listed. We got it done. About a 30, 45 day delay, but we got it done. And that's when I realized there was a need for that. And I understood that grief piece of it. And there's grief too with divorce, people going through divorce.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of grief with that too. And then what came of it was the seniors that downsized. I do more of the probate and seniors because the average age of somebody passing, in my experience, is a little older. There could be a spouse left behind, or somebody's just older and they're going to assisted living, they're going to memory care, etc. So those things continue no matter what. And trust me, once the courts got back open during the pandemic, business as usual.
All right. So I want you to, so we have listeners across the gamut. They're all across the country. Portugal. We ranked.
Love Portugal. I saw that. Congratulations. What was that?
Bizarre. We ranked number 55 for all educational podcasts in Portugal the other day. And we were like, what? Thank you, Portugal. We love you. We don't know you, but we love you. So, but we have also agents who run the gamut from top producers to people who just got licensed to even people who are just thinking about getting a license. So in a short way, explain what probate is. Okay. And then I didn't know we were going to talk about this today, but take us to Probate Church. So as much as you're willing to give people, because I do feel like that's one of the, like, I remember sitting in a big class conference educational piece when I first got my license, and they were like, go after divorce attorneys, go after probate, but like they don't actually tell you how to do that. So what is probate? And if someone wanted to learn how to niche that, where do they go? What do they do?
They can reach out to me. You know, I talk about it all the time. I definitely do webinars and things on that. It saved my ass and wanting to stay in real estate. Was learning how to list and listing in a niche. Realistically, there's a few different ways that you can work with probate. I started with attorneys and getting to know the attorneys in my area and putting myself out there. And, I took a little course. I mean, I'm telling you, it was like in 2012, but it laid enough groundwork for me, and I know how to network and I know how to do all that. So it was like, okay, let me put myself front and center and start coordinating all these pieces. So I also knew how to clean a house, because when the market crashed, I was cleaning houses to make extra money. So, to clean a house out, I got that down. I like staging and all that. And I know how to talk to the personal representatives, or in some areas, executors. So it was more about planting the seeds, didn't happen overnight, and just showing them that I was educated in this, and I would take very good care of their clients. And as soon as I got my first one, I got that 5-star review. And then I leveraged that 5-star review. And then I started asking certain attorneys if they would give me a 5-star review. So I started building the 5-star review thing. And I got known for being able to handle a lot of moving parts and also difficult people. Because people are not always happy with what's going on in a probate. You may have more than one.
Highly emotional, because probate is when someone passes away and we're not 100% sure what happens with the house or who owns it. Sometimes you are and sometimes you're not, but it's the process of taking an estate and selling the property and highly emotional.
And sometimes everyone gets along and sometimes they don't. Sometimes you have one executor or personal representative. Sometimes you have two. I just did an interview with a probate attorney that I'm going to put on my podcast and my YouTube channel. And, I said, the best case scenario is one, right? She goes, one executor, one PR, because sometimes they're not on the same page. Then you got to get dual everything, signatures and everything from everybody.
Well, I've had situations where, so like, again, if you're listening and you don't even know what probate is. So sometimes an estate is really easy and clean, meaning that people pass and they have their estate together and in order, so they know who the house goes to. And a PR is a personal representative. That's the person that represents the estate, kind of similar to an executor. But sometimes, like, I had a situation once where there are times where the attorneys have to go out and find all the heirs. And that was like really, like, it took us like 8 months to get through that.
Like
and then
that, you're absolutely right.
Fighting with each other. And this and then there was a cousin who had, it's highly emotional. But there was a cousin who lived in the house and he had been taking care of grandma for like 10 years, but he didn't put him on the will. And so then he felt like, because he had taken care of grandma, physically taken care of the house for 10 years, he should have part of it. And so they were arguing. And
it's a whole legal piece. And if you can avoid it, avoid it. So in particular, I'm reminding people, go have your wills updated. Know who you want to be representing you as your personal representative, which is the person that's going to be working on the disbursement of everything, or in some states, executress. Know your estate plan, no matter how old you are, and like, I looked at ours, a while ago, and I was like, oh, kids are old enough. We don't need guardians. There's just certain little nuances. Or have they updated certain aspects of the wills in your state? Or even like, power of attorney paperwork and things like that. There's so many moving pieces. So it's something that I really enjoy working with, because I like to be able to help people move on to the next chapter, because there's never any closure to it.
I actually like what you just said. That could be a cool touch point for people. Like, what if you were to bring in someone, and actually that could be a great connector piece. So what if you were to bring in an attorney in your market who specializes in estates and probate? And what if you were to do a workshop for your clients? Like invite them on Zoom or invite them in person or whatever, and teach them about their wills and their estates and tidying up their stuff. Like, that's a great way to reach your clients and reach the attorneys.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity. And as agents, personal branding is huge. Networking yourself in the right circles. That doesn't mean going to the chamber happy hour every week. If those are not your people, as far as who you are targeting, figure out who is. I've been there, done that. So I say that with great respect. I love our chamber here, but I'm just saying, know where to go and where to spend your time and money. So your local bar associations have lunches every month. Find out where that lunch is, go buy that ticket and go sit at the table. Will they all be in probate? No, but they all know each other. Right? So that's how you network yourself. Start interviewing them for your podcast or YouTube channel or Instagram Live or whatever you want to do. It takes time, and I know agents love to do everything overnight, but if you plant the seeds and then all of a sudden 6 months later you look back and go, wow, I did this, and now it's starting to happen.
What happens to a property if there is no will and there is no downline of family? Like, if they can't find any family, what happens to the house?
Well, I have not actually had that happen, thank God, but that ends up being in the attorney court situation. I don't know exactly how that would roll, because I've never experienced that. There's always been someone who is handling the personal representative side. Sometimes there's properties that show up that people didn't know about, and that could mean that there's heirs out there that people didn't know about either. So then it becomes like the full-on court, approval of everything.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a couple of them out here where people just pass away and they have no heirs, they have nobody, and they haven't left the house to anybody, no charity, nothing.
Yeah.
So the courts just take the house, and then the city owns it and lets it go to shit, unfortunately.
Here, but you know what? That's a great question. I've just never had that happen.
So then they auction it at like the tax sale, or they put it up as a foreclosure? Interesting.
They auction it.
Yeah, I would say probably.
Wow.
But I'm going to check with one of my attorneys that I'm going to see. That's
Yeah.
a good question.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't happen often, but sometimes it does. I mean, I think it would be a great opportunity for us as agents to reach out to our clients and make sure that their estates are set up, no matter how young they are.
Yeah, exactly. It's so,
for me, especially our military clients, like, I've actually had, clients who are very young, pass away unexpectedly and haven't had their affairs in order. And if they weren't married, there's a life insurance issue. If they haven't, designated somebody. So it becomes a big problem. So that's something that I really want to work on for my clients this coming year anyway. Is making sure that they're set up.
Floated by me, which is, this gentleman has his estate, he had a will and everything. And the people that he named in the will, you have to have someone in Florida. And they want Floridians. And it's a little known, kind of nuance. Again, I had not experienced that. So I called one of my attorneys. I said, let me ask you something. And I told him what happened. He goes, oh yeah. So they've had to track down somebody, and they did, which is good. But yeah, didn't know. The gentleman just didn't know that. And somebody didn't advise him. But then that goes back to celebrity probate situations where you're like, I don't understand. They're surrounded by attorneys, financial planners, advisors all day long, but yet there you see that Prince's estate is in probate, and you see Amy Winehouse probate. You see all of these things, and you're like, they actually have attorneys they talk to all the time.
That's because there's big money on the table, don't you think? So there's probably jerky. That's what I would think.
I don't get the non-estate planning piece, but it happens all the time. And it's a great conversation starter. If you want to talk to mom and dad and you don't want to like look like you're doing it out of greed, but it's more of, hey, it's a real pain in the ass.
Well, you know, I'll tell, like, from my perspective, a couple different things. I mean, my mom has done a very diligent job, and she's in her mid 60s. She's done a very diligent job of setting her estate up, and she always, you know, she always brings it up. And I'm weird. I don't like to talk about that stuff. It makes me upset. So I'm like, I don't want to know. Just put it somewhere where when things happen, I need to know. I don't like talking about my own stuff, so I don't have my own stuff set up, knock on wood, which is really bad. But I will tell you, like, you know, when Ryan, when his dad was passing, you know, he said like one of the last things that he said to Ryan was, you know, I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid to go. I'm afraid that I don't have my house in order. Because he was very young. I know it gives me the chills. It makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
He was very young. And it was very unexpected to happen very quickly. And, you know, his mom, she didn't even know who had the mortgage, how to pay the mortgage, or how to log into the bank account and pay or where the car payment or anything. So I do think this could be an incredible opportunity for you to be more than just a real estate salesperson, and maybe like stand in the gap of your clients' whole needs as a fiduciary and put up a workshop or something to help them get.
I'm thinking about doing that, you know, with the pandemic happening and things kind of getting kind of wonky. Now I'm more back at it where I'm like, okay, this is what I need to be doing. And I just did this interview with a fantastic probate attorney here locally, and it was such a great conversation. And I'm going to continue that. And I love that idea of, you know, I think it's great to do things on Zoom, but at the same time, I think people like the in-person a little bit too. So I love that idea.
Yeah, that's a great way to connect with your clients, like, and your attorneys in town.
Yeah.
Say, hey, look, I've got this massive book of business and I want to make sure that my clients are set up properly. How can I connect you guys?
Yeah, exactly. So
and you could get little cute get them notepads with your logo on them, do some cute pens, some cute swag things.
Oh yeah, I love
doing I mean, I kind of think I'm going to do this. I love this.
Oh, it's such a great niche. If you're passionate about it and you have a caring heart and you're okay with having hard conversations, it's a very, very humbling niche. And it's one that I've been doing it quite some time. So, and then on the flip side was I started Soboka as a
totally different,
you know, let me talk about my community as a local, you know, influencer. I'm out and about. Let me shine the light on charities around town and food and the fun stuff that I like. And of course the little sarcastic, oh my God, that's Soboka, you know, kind of thing. So it's the yin and the yang to my life.
Cute. So if people wanted to go after probate, let's talk about the two sides, your yin and your yang. So if people wanted to go after probate, maybe give them a couple steps that they could, like real action steps that they could take to start that in their business today.
I think the main thing is there's definitely some different places where you can do some learning. I certainly do offer something. There's a lot of free stuff online. YouTube is wonderful for that, and see if it's a good fit for you. And, you know that it's something you need to work on, you know, in your business. It's not like, oh, let me just do this one day. It's a pillar to your business. And so it's one listing pillar. Then what I think happens is you find that you've got one listing pillar and then you have a micro pillar. And that's what happened with the senior side. And they complement each other and cross-pollinate. So I think that's the way to just kind of start looking at it without being overwhelmed, and do some research, because there is a lot online that's free, you know, as well, and see if it's a good fit, and then know if you want to move forward and, you know, learn how to actually, you can, you know, the one thing I do is I do teach agents how to find probate if they want to do that route too. But I'm a big believer that agents really have a good opportunity to network with those attorneys. And that's like just know enough to not sound stupid when you're talking to them, literally, and don't be asking them for business right away. Build the
Mhm.
relationship.
Hi, Nancy. I don't know. Yeah, hi. She just
Hi,
said hello.
Nancy.
Hello, Nancy. We love comments. I feel like we have more comments. Say hi, say things to us.
Yeah.
Ask Michelle questions. Okay, so the probate niche. So we will link up in the comment section how they can get in touch with you about that. That's awesome that you share that. Now talk about Soboka and what that is, and then like how someone could niche themselves in a lifestyle way if they wanted to.
Yeah. And what kinds of things that you're posting?
Okay. So, like 2017, 2018, I kind of needed, like, just like I said, that yin and yang to business. And I really like social media, like early adopter to that. And my kids got me on Snapchat.
You said you have young daughters that put you on the TikTok and
they put me on the Snapchat, and I got pissy with them because they kept doing videos of me, like, sneaky videos. And then I finally got mad, and they're like, well, actually, why don't you get on TikTok or on Snapchat? And I said, okay, fine. So got on Snapchat, and I'm like, I'm going to show them. And I got on Snapchat and started out snapping them. I learned how to do like borders for it. I like geofences, everything. But this is the rub. I met Chelsea Pites.
Yes.
I met Sue Pinky Benson. I met Dustin Brome.
Yeah.
It's like all of my friends in real estate, like truly, I met on Snapchat.
I know nothing about Snapchat. I've never had it. In my opinion, it's always been the place
where it now.
Or the dudes send the dick pics because they disappear in 30 seconds or whatever it is. So apparently we need to have you come back another day and teach a whole Snapchat course.
No, I don't do it anymore. But I got on it, and then what it did is it launched me into a good position for when Instagram started to do stories. And then all the other stuff, right? And then TikTok. So like I go, listen, age is just a number. I'm going to be 60 on the 18th of this month. And I don't want to hear from agents that are midlifers. I can't do this. I don't want to be on video. I don't want to try that. No, you're missing the opportunity because your audience is there. It's not just for my girls or young people. It's for all of us. You have something to share. You have something, a story to tell. You have a hobby. I love to thrift like a you know what, and I'm a good thrifter. And so if I pop thrifting stuff on my stories, I get a ton of views, but that's my people. Then they're going to talk to me about real estate. So I sprinkle in the real estate. I do have a lot of fun with Soboka because I showcase my town. I say I'm the unofficial ambassador of Boca Raton, and this is my town. I love it. I'm not uber rich. I'm showing you the regular side of what we do here. We have fun. It's a great community, a philanthropic community, great food, but it also comes to South Florida. So Boca is in between West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale and an hour north of Miami. It doesn't get much better than that. So I can bop around and get great content, and I'm all about batching your content and doing it. But don't be afraid to learn these things and ask somebody. Again, there's so much free stuff online to learn about TikTok. Mike Corbett, great on TikTok. Chi, great on TikTok. Greg Chin, great on TikTok.
Hey, Greg was on our show.
Greg, he's fantastic. But he's the one who gave me some tips. And most people don't mind if you ask him. Just don't like do the, can I pick your brain? No, just say, hey, if I were to do this tweak, would that work for me? Most people are fine with that. You know,
Deb Henderson, we love you. Deb is our girl down on the Space Coast in Florida.
Ooh,
you guys should know each other. She's amazing. She's helped lots of my referrals. But so she says, I love the emphasis on learning about it first before just going straight to asking. I believe they need to know us, like us, trust us, like any other category. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, like I would not approach a probate attorney without Googling the ever living, you know what, out of probate the same way that, yeah, we need to, you know, I think this market the market moves so fast that people, I don't think we've had time to research, but I also think we've like lost the art and the skill of like learning something. And we're high D driven personalities. We like to just jump into things. but definitely, yeah, you want to research things.
Well, it's no
before.
different if you're going to do a story or a TikTok. And my friend Sue Pinky Benson, if you don't follow her, she's great. Pinky Knows Naples, who I met on Snapchat. Pinky was the one who said, if you're going to go on a story or even with Reels, just know 3 things to say. Go Google it. It takes you 2 seconds. Okay, here are 3 things you want to know about this coffee shop, this town, oh, this community. Just take a minute, 3 things, doesn't have to be perfect. Look, what we do know is that these platforms work. They attract your clientele and you will close business. The biggest shock to me that came out of late 2020 and 2021 was freaking Clubhouse. I jumped on there, I binged it, got into those groups. I've met some amazing realtors and I've closed almost $3 million in referrals from Clubhouse. And I do not profess to be that top agent. I am your average agent, whatever that means to somebody. I have really good years and then I have other years that are different, because life ebbs and flows. And I think the stress on us as agents are you just have to do what's going to make your life comfortable, that's going to help save you some money, and that you enjoy. Not everybody wants to be way up here, but that's okay. You do you. Some people want a team. Some people are solo that just want support behind them. It's okay. There's no right way or wrong way. But the one thing I know is that if you get on a social media platform, figure out where you want to be, know why you're on there, so your content is directed to them. So with Soboka, I want people moving here. I want them to see how great it is. I want them to see how great South Florida is. We have a huge tech component moving here. I'm going to Emerge Americas under a press pass the week of my birthday because it's all on crypto, NFT, and blockchain. We have to stay in front of this stuff.
Dude, that stuff is coming up fast. And by the way, we do have someone that's coming on the show to talk to us about that. So what's kind of funny is some of the ways that we come up with topics for the show is what we're feeling, right? Because we're in production. Yeah. So it's the squeezes and the crazy stuff that we're seeing and feeling. Some of the ways that we come up with our topics is going through these big groups that have 500,000 agents across the United States and seeing what they're struggling with and talking about. And I can tell you. Okay, Michelle, can I ask just really quick before I finish that thought? How old are you? Or just give us an idea.
No, I'm very proud of the fact I will be 60 on the 18th.
Beautiful. You're beautiful.
That's awesome.
So beautiful. I feel like Florida is good for the skin. It makes you beautiful.
Well, really, I mean, I was at the beach you know what it is? I think my girls have kept me on trend, on point. I like fun, like we were talking, like the Kardashians. I love seeing, what are the Kardashians doing? Oh yeah, they're building a real estate empire. Whether you like them, they're great branding people. So I look at Kim, Kris Jenner. I'm like, she's badass. I love her.
Bravo works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder. That's but the thing is, so like, we were seeing all these posts, right? There's like all these people that are literally in these groups making fun of crypto, Bitcoin, blockchain, NFTs, and it's like, guys, the metaverse, making fun of the fact that people are buying property in the metaverse. You guys, this is coming. And it's coming really fast, and none of us have any idea what it's going to do yet. But I will tell you this: you need to, same like Deb Henderson said, and like Michelle said, you need to spend just even a little bit of time, like getting online and Googling these buzz terms right now, because your clients are talking about this. They're thinking about this. I guarantee you, they're either invested in or want to invest even a couple bucks,
right?
In Bitcoin or NFT, like, but.
It's like when agents a couple years ago, were like, I don't want to get on the internet. I don't want to do anything on social media. I don't want to have a cell phone. Yeah, that's what's coming for all of us that went through that and all got our cell phones. Now this is the next thing that we have to do, or we're going to get pushed out.
I'm a firm believer you have to be ahead of the trend. And so be a visionary, be a forward thinker, like Steve Jobs, forward thinker. So this is where I say age is just a number. Never stop learning. Okay. You may get distracted, but never stop learning. So in the rooms that I host on Clubhouse, it's called Club.
Girl, you're doing all the things better than the 20-year-old kids are. I'm obsessed.
Girls say,
I love it.
If you have any questions, I'm not as great at the analytics as other people, but I know how to put stuff out there. But at the end of the day, I have a room at 5:00 on Mondays in Clubhouse, and then one on Fridays called Solo Agent Lounge. And ironically, the Solo Agent Lounge one, which is not just for solo agents, has been turning every week to the latest in crypto, the latest in all of this. David Morell's been in there, Shane's in there, Ray Allen comes in there, and then we have
Ray's a good
Ray.
homeboy.
I met him on Clubhouse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, Ray, Ray is the Clubhouse man, but we love Ray. He's been on our show. He's a homeboy.
Great guy. You've had some.
And his partner, Dan Ludwig, also we love very dearly. They do the Be More Bearded Men of Real Estate podcast.
Oh, I know, right?
Very fun.
They're just great. And it's like, but what happens is you try these new things, and all of a sudden what bubbles up is, oh wow, this is something I'm not hearing on Facebook, on Instagram, on whatever.
Clubhouse is really a good place to go for weird shit. And I mean that in a good way. Like if you want to get like real life listening on the newest, the hottest stuff, like go to Clubhouse and just listen.
I think so.
No drive. Because everyone there is talking about the weird revolutionary shit.
But social audio is coming into LinkedIn. It's at Twitter. I don't know what Facebook's doing. I know they've got it, but it's there. It's not going away. So for those people,
TikTok just started prioritizing so the TikTok algorithm always used to run the most on on the astronaut in the ocean, like the latest song.
Yeah,
the trending music.
Yeah, but you wanted to use the trendy songs. Now they started prioritizing original sound. So I do think you're right. I think
there's so much opportunity out there. And if you're on a shoestring budget, this stuff's all free. It's just your time. So learn it, make mistakes. I go on a lot of times, baseball hat, lipstick, sunglasses. I don't give a shit. Whatever. If the message is good, nobody's going to care.
Right.
Well, I mean, Angela and I, again, we were at the Real Estate Mega Moms Abundance Conference, and we were both up on the stage, and we looked beautiful. But like people would not even recognize us because on Tuesdays we roll up here in our jammy pants and no makeup, no hair. But I feel like to me, it's because this is my off time. Yeah. Because this is something that we do as a ministry to our agent community because we love it. This isn't work for us, but someone that was on the panel, one of the biggest questions, and Angela, you should answer it the way that you did because you did an amazing job. But one of the biggest questions that people asked was like, how do you push yourself to do video when you don't like it, when you're afraid of it? So how did you answer that, Ange? Like, how do you get used to it?
I mean, what's the worst that could happen? People don't watch you. Oh, okay. They're not watching you now because you're not doing anything. Like, I mean, the best thing that could happen is you become more comfortable with being uncomfortable, and it pushes you to do other things that maybe are out of your comfort zone, and you open up your eyes to a whole new world of stuff that you now enjoy and you like doing. I mean, I'm just watching on TikTok recently, like all the different things that people are doing on there. And I'm like, I could totally do that. Why haven't I done that? I mean, other than dancing, I'm not going to be dancing on the TikToks, but, I could easily do 3 tips every day, and do a bunch of content for 30 minutes in the morning and then roll it out. My only struggle on TikTok is figuring out how to edit shit. I can't figure it out. So thank God I have friends that are younger that can.
I'm going to throw up. We just met at the conference this amazing woman named Lauren Taylor, who
she's awesome.
Runs an entire TikTok coaching group. And so I'm going to throw up in the comments her info.
Oh, perfect.
She's a super badass.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And follow agents that you like and learn from them. Because let's face it, the premise is kind of like rip off and repeat.
Right. None of our content is unique.
Exactly. So you can
by the way, that's funny that you just said that, Ange. That just blew my mind right there. I hope everyone listening. Okay, we got to stop for a second there. None of the content is unique. That's 2 things to me. Number 1, everyone obsesses over creating unique content. Right. And that's why we never do anything, because we sit there and I have a freaking 75-page long list in my phone about I can make this and I can make that. Number 2, think about the fact that what goes the most viral, like on TikTok, for example, is the same fucking dance over and over and over and over, like literally millions and millions and millions of times. It's the same exact content, and it goes viral every time.
Yeah.
Deb says,
Here's the other thing. Don't worry about going viral. If one person sees it and calls you, we're good.
true.
On anything. But it's nice to go viral every once in a while if you can.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Deb says they will see your realness, which is amusing and fun, and with content too. Yeah, and the batching thing. So Lauren Taylor, I put her stuff up in the chat or in the comments. She gave a talk on TikTok I thought was super powerful. It took like 5 pages of notes. But she talked about batching, like you said, Michelle, a lot, which is the idea of kicking out your, like scheduling your content essentially. So she was saying for 30 minutes every single morning, she creates her content for like the day or the week or whatever it is. And, you know, of course, because we're women, everyone in the audience was like, but do you change your outfit?
Right. That's all we cared about. Was
like sometimes not, you know, like, but that's the thing is you just blew my mind with that. It isn't original content. It doesn't matter if she's wearing the same pink shirt in 30 videos.
No, nobody cares.
It doesn't matter if you're doing the exact same thing that somebody else did that you just watched, and that's the content you're putting out. Because how is that different from doing the same TikTok dance that everybody else is doing? People follow you because they like you, not because of what you're talking about for the most part. It comes down to you and how authentic you are about what's going on in your life. And as far as getting them information and educational content, just copy the same shit that everybody else is doing if you can't find anything to do on your own. That's what people do to our podcast.
Is your audience. And you know, somebody who was on in one of my rooms at Clubhouse, we were talking about podcasting, and he said, if you need topics for anything, and I'm really like, now I'm like, oh, this is so smart. Every day I get, I think once or twice a day, I get some from Florida Association of Realtors. And there's always great stuff in there. So now I'm just going, okay, I'm going to talk about that. Bing, bang, boom. Okay, I'm banking it. Now I'm going to talk about this. Bing, bang, boom. Banking it. And now I've got like, I'm banking more. So I have a lot of content, but it's almost,
you know what's funny? If you start watching other people in your own market, that 1 week after you post something, they'll post the exact same thing. That's what happens to our podcast. And there's like 2 other podcasts here in town that do the exact same content as we do a week and a half later. And it cracks me up every time because I'm like, do they not think we see that?
Hang on, Ange. I want to go back again for people listening, because what you're saying is so like, it's funny. It's not funny because sometimes it sucks. Like we've been legitimately ripped off multiple times, but it goes back again to what Michelle said, and then what Deb said, and what you said, which is you have to be out in the world on a consistent basis, taking in new knowledge and researching, because the reason people rip us off on this show is that we spend every day of our lives consuming what's like, okay, so literally right now I've been looking down at my phone because while we are having this conversation, we just broke the news on the page that Open Door is being sued in Charlotte 3 different times, and their license in Charlotte was suspended. So like we just broke that. We've broken news on this show more times than I can count. We were the very first agents out there to talk about the coronavirus and what impact the shutdown was going to have. And I'm not saying this to toot our horn because we don't care. It's not an ego thing. We are spending our time really on the pulse of what's happening in the world and in the business, and we're the first to get it. So if you want to grab original content, get on the Clubhouse, get in these Facebook groups, comb through your local news. Like you need to be on the ball. Well, right. That's a cute idea. Deb said the same clothing could become your brand or a uniform. It's actually a win if someone recognizes you for it. That's adorable.
Like that. I love that. Well, look at
like maybe logo your gear, Deb, and actually make a uniform with your company logo on it. That's a cute idea.
Great idea.
I like that.
Yeah, because I don't have the patience. I am a high I with some D and an Aries. Do you really think I want to sit there and change my shirt for every freaking video? I'd rather poke my eye out. You know, like I came home from a luncheon, Alzheimer's luncheon on Friday, and I was like, well, I'm dressed up and I had my hair blown out. I'm going to knock off some videos.
Girl, yes. That's what I said on stage. You batch when you're having a good
do this, and then other days I don't give a crap.
You batch when you're having a good makeup, good hair day. That's the day where it doesn't matter what's going on. You sit down and you make yourself some reels and some videos and some content.
Like when I have podcast interviews like this, I'm like, okay, I better do something because I pulled it together. Normally I would be like well, let's just say I have to go to an event for the Board of Realtors. They're doing something with the first female NF coach here, and it's in Delray Beach. So I'm dressed and ready to go. But normally I'd be in a t-shirt and my sweatpants.
So what you're saying is that we're going to watch you over the next week, and we're going to see lots of TikTok and Snappy Chat and all the things you're wearing right now.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Sure.
But I think as women, we just pick ourselves apart. And
yeah, we got to stop that.
I've done a lot. Yeah, we do. But listen, here's the thing. Like, I've done a lot of research on that. I've done a lot of work on that. I've done a lot of therapy on that. And on some level, I think that is ingrained in women. It's ingrained in us by society, and it will never stop. It doesn't matter. You can't hurt a woman. You know why you can't hurt a woman? Because we hurt ourselves first, always.
Every time.
Right. And so to me, it's like, you just got to put yourself out there, because you're going to pick yourself apart anyways. I mean, I hate my voice. I sound like an angry man is how I feel. Like I have a very unfeminine voice. Like I pick that apart. I don't like my nose. I don't like anything that shows this tummy area. Like we all have our stuff. But the thing is, I mean, I'm still going to have a big nose. I'm still going to have a big tummy. I'm still going to have a man voice, but maybe I can have a man voice and a big nose and a big tummy on a beach somewhere because I did a real estate transaction because I found someone off a video.
I was going to say, I was reading she's a great singer, and she's down in Miami right now, and the paparazzi is just hounding the shit out of her. And Camila
oh my God! She is so.
They're harassing her big time. She's in her bikini. She said it's ruined my vacation because it's made me self-conscious of angles holding in my stomach the whole time I'm there, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. Like that just sucks.
You guys know who Camila Cabello is? Like she is one of the most beautiful human beings on earth. But
this is where we are.
This isn't a you thing, and that's what I'm trying to say.
No,
this is not a Lindsay or an Angela or a Michelle thing that we look at ourselves on video and don't like the way that we look or sound. Kim Kardashian, who is one of the most beautiful women that's ever lived on planet Earth, struggles with this. She gets caught for photoshopping her shit all the time, guys. Like, I mean, this is a woman thing. It is much easier for men to just get out there, but we have to, if we can't stop the way that we beat ourselves up, which it is highly probable that'll never. But
here's one of the things I'm going to say. And this kind of came up in Clubhouse, and I kind of tangled with someone on it, which is very rare. But where I draw the line is I'm going to be 60. If I want to put a light, and I say light filter on when I'm doing a story and you're 35, don't fucking tell me not to do it. When you become my age, then we'll have that conversation. That doesn't make me inauthentic. My message is authentic. But
wait, have people said that to you?
Oh, well, in conversation about, well, you just need to be completely authentic. Well, that doesn't make you inauthentic. I
would be like, bitch, nobody filters like a 20-year-old. Are you joking me? Like you're wearing.
Thank you. But here's
like what?
I landed that plane. I said, look, if it makes somebody get on video, and as long as I can recognize you if I see you in person, fine with it. I don't care who does it. But
what if that filter isn't for anyone else but the person that's putting the filter on?
Exactly. If it makes you feel better, why not?
If I want to put a filter on that makes it look like I'm not myself, that's for me to do and make myself feel better. And I'm going to do it. And guess what? You can't tell me I can't.
I don't get into that stuff.
But you need to do the videos and the video work for yourself too. Yes, it is going out there to go out into the community, but like this turned into a way bigger conversation about women and life. I mean, you have to do that work for yourself because it's about pushing past scary stuff and getting uncomfortable. And maybe you never love yourself completely because none of us ever will, but you got to do it anyways.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think the other thing is we as women in this industry have to remember a couple of things. 50% of the agents are over the age of 50 and 64% are women. And we have to protect our industry in the sense that when we go to these conferences, we go to these events, it is fair and balanced on who's on stage. I'm tired of seeing 10, 15 guys to 3 women as the speakers. I'm not supporting those events anymore. I want to see the women invited to the table. I'm tired of it. My friends are tired of it. We are seeing it. We talk about it. And we're acknowledging it. And
we were up until 4 a.m. talking about this at the Preach
bullshit.
Yeah. Well, that's why you have to create your own table. And your own event.
Exactly. And
then you can
Clubhouse
pick who
was a
sits
great
with you.
place to do that. Clubhouse was great.
Yeah, and then once you build the table, guys, bring up the other women, because that's what I'm fucking done with too. That's what I'm real done with. If you are a mean girl, if you are stuck in high school and you're a grown woman, if you think being mean to other people is funny, if you think that fighting with other people is funny, then I don't want you on a stage. And I don't.
You deserve the seat that you have made for yourself.
That fake ass filter that you put on when you fight with everyone and you cause problems and you're not a woman who raises up other women, that's a hell of a lot worse than putting a filter on your fucking Instagram story.
Exactly.
So let's stop with that.
And that's a whole topic for another day, because we do need to all work together on that. It's an industry-wide problem.
I agree. Yep. It is. But, I think it's changing a little bit. The women are finding each other and we're trying to, we're trying to grow the things. But yeah, back to the video stuff. You just got to do it. I hate these podcasts. It's funny. Originally we started this show and it was going to be audio only. And then Angela had the idea to go live so we could interact with people. And it's been incredible. But it's like every time I look at my face, I'm like, but
I'm jealous you had Vicki Gunnelson, the original OC housewife, man.
From the OC. Yeah, we've had some really cool guests. I don't know if I could pick a favorite, but you know what I think is cooler? Like, yeah, Vicki was cool. We've had Kirsten Jordan from $1 Million Listing LA, Manhattan. But my favorites are the communities that we've met because of it.
Yeah.
So it's like we've met a lot of really amazing people. And
you've had some great guests, and I really love your show and love the concept. And I was so excited when you invited me to be on it.
We're so excited you're here. I want to go back to one thing really quick before we sign off. And that's the piece about someone saying that about your filter. Lauren Taylor, again, I put her stuff in the chat comments. She said something that kind of blew my mind at the conference, which was that controlled conflict oftentimes is what goes viral. And so she said, if something blows up, I mean, listen, you're not going to take abuse, and you need to, again, this is something, if you're going to dive headfirst in the social media world, we're going back to research again, go online and learn how to respond to someone who's really nasty without making yourself look like a psychopath. But don't delete those comments and don't take down the post. And actually what she said is that people do that a lot. They put something up, something bad happens, they pull the post down. And I didn't know this, but she said that the algorithms of all these social sites will actually punish you for removing content. So you'll drop way down in views and rankings and all the things if you pull stuff down. So, either leave it alone or let it go viral. And I thought that was pretty interesting that controlled controversy can go viral.
Yeah, totally. And I think sharing, I love to share agents all over the country on my Instagram. Hey, make sure you follow this agent. Hey, check out what this agent listed. It's not in my market, but make sure you're reaching out. I love to do that, do the shout outs to agents all over the place. We have such a rare opportunity as agents in particular, because we really do have a pretty good understanding of how to leverage social media, how to use it for good, and also to support local causes and national and international causes. It's don't be afraid to leverage it. And it doesn't have to be about real estate 24/7. I say that's always a snooze fest. Just be real, talk about what you enjoy, sprinkle in the other, and rinse and repeat.
And get clear on your audience. It's funny because I'm not I couldn't sleep last night. And so actually, because we learned about social media at this conference, I was up until 2:30 messing around with TikTok last night. And get clear. That was a big deal for me. Get clear on who your audience is, because at first I was I'm gonna dance. I like to dance, and then I was I'm gonna make a funny video with my kid, and then I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that. But it's I don't know what my audience is. Was my audience clients? Was my audience just people thought I was funny? Was my audience finding cool people to talk to come on our show? So I spent a lot of time last night in the middle of the night thinking about who is my audience, and then that's who my content goes to. That's how you know what to make.
I agree. So for example, my TikTok audience is for other agents in most cases because I do a lot of agent referrals. I'm in South Florida, so I get sent a lot of referrals. That makes sense. My other Instagram account at the Michelle B, that's geared towards agents. It's tips, trainings, information, connecting with other agents. Soboka, though, is for the consumer. And if some agents follow me, that's great. But my content on there is not real estate related unless I have a listing or I've closed something. I don't do pendings. I don't do under contracts. I just, keep it real, and I know my audience, and my audience tends to be 35 to 55, 70% are women.
How do you know that?
The analytics on the platforms, I can look at that, which makes sense,
Yeah.
makes sense. And so I know that. So pinks and turquoises, those are my colors. And, I just run with that. And then sometimes I pollinate Soboka with my real estate stuff when I'm talking about how to start a personal brand that is going to attract people to you and talk about you as an agent versus who's Michelle. Nobody knows who I am, but they do know Soboka.
Yeah.
I also would say don't be afraid to switch gears. So if you do jump into a niche with the social media stuff specifically, and you do feel like you need to change your audience, just remember, don't pull the stuff down, right? Because the platforms, they'll punish you for pulling down back videos that don't match your new brand or whatever. So just leave them there.
9 things and push it down.
Yeah, just
a bad review on Google.
Yes.
That's it. Awesome.
Well, we have solved the world's problems today in the real estate realm.
We sure did. World peace. That was I like that conversation. Everyone, go follow Michelle. What's the name of your podcast?
In the Hive with Michelle B.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, I love that.
That's cute. So we'll link it up in the comments so you can find and listen to. But that was amazing. Thank you for being with us today. And
thank you.
We hope to see you around again soon.
All right, guys. Thanks again. This was wonderful.
Love you guys. See you next week.